The clock in a doctor's waiting room ticked and tocked. The second hand twitched. I tick-tocked and twitched with it. All the other patients, the sickly, lumpy, bumpy, motley bunch, looked at me like I was the odd one. Two old ladies even moved away. I reverted to one of my soothing coping techniques. I counted the windows. I started on my left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But what about the big pane of glass onto reception? Was that a window? Because it was looking inside, not out. On balance, I decided to count it. 7 windows. The clock ticked-tocked and twitched for a whole minute, me along with it, before the need to recount the windows overcame me. This time I started from my right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Phew, it hadn't changed. I felt safe, secure and soothed. Now, it was because of my counting windows that I was here, or rather because Mrs. Snowbarger made me come. Mrs. Snowbarger had got fed up with my counting windows. I used to pick Mrs. Snowbarger up from work, and she thought it was ever so sweet. But the thing was, she worked in an old building, and above the staff entrance, high up, were these 2 huge windows. Each window made up of tiny little squares of leaded glass. 1,300 of them, in case you were worried. I used to get there deliberately early to count those windows every time. The final straw for Mrs. Snowbarger was the day trip to Longleat. Bugger the lions, a dangerous thing to do anyway. I spent the whole day walking round the outside of the house counting the windows, first clockwise, then anti-clockwise. People thought I was a surreal performance artiste. A group of Americans followed me round and applauded every time I finished a window. And to be fair, it's not just windows. I love counting square things that form a pattern. I have 110 large and 45 small paving slabs in my garden. How do I know? Because I count them regularly. I even check them before doing this. They never move. The number never changes. It'd be a worry if they suddenly change overnight on their own. But counting them makes me feel safe and secure. The news at 10. Bong! Drift still has 110 and 45 small paving slabs in his garden. Bong! World leaders are relieved. Bong! The FTSE index recovers. Bong! The doctor's tannoy crackled into life. Mr. Snowbarger to room 3, please. Mr. Snowbarger, room 3. I sat in front of that doctor, and for the first time in my life, blah, I told him everything. It all started at age 13. You know, every class has a weird kid who ticks and tocks and twitches. Yeah, that would be me. And you know, at work, that bloke everyone thinks he's safe, but they're not quite sure, and no girl would go out with. Yeah, that would be me. And this was way back in 1973. It was wrong to say that people ignored it. They didn't, but no one tried to help. Well, unless you count telling me to keep quiet, keep still, and stop staring out the windows. I tried to explain I wasn't staring out the windows, I was counting the windows. But that just seemed to make things worse. I told the doctor about counting windows, about counting paving slabs. I told him about light switches. You want to turn the light off. You go to the switch, click, easy. Oh, you poor people, you don't know what you're missing, because every light switch has its own unique sound. It might be a click, or a click, or a cur-click, or a clunk, or a cur-clunk-click. But every light has its own rhythm. And I have to make that light switch fit the rhythm before I'm convinced the light is off. Just standing in the darkness isn't enough. And I always have to use the same rhythm. I like to tell you it's something highbrow, like Beethoven's Fifth, da 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 da, or the back toccata and fugue, da 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 da. But it's not. My rhythm is da 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 da. It may take me several goes to make the light switch fit the rhythm. I've had to turn the light off, stand there in the dark, part of me knowing the light switch is off, and then go click, 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 and only then am I satisfied the light is off. Twice the priest had told me to move house. The first time the old lady opposite had reported me for sending messages to Soviet spy satellites. The second time a neighbour claimed I was trying to induce a psychotic attack with flashing strobe lighting. The good news is that since seeing the doctor, my light switch obsession rhythm thingy has stopped. Yes! The bad news is that I've found showers have their own special rhythm. This is fine at home. Gets a bit awkward in a sports centre, especially with those communal showers with those push button timey things. I've had to spend ages stood there trying to ease that button in and out to the rhythm. I got some very strange looks. Shower at home now. However, there has been one ever-present soothing technique in my life. Books. I love books. I love the joy of opening a book and not knowing where it will take me. But that's only a small part of it, because I love the smell, the feel, the weight, the heft of a book. But above all, I love tidying books. Is there anything more satisfying, a great joy than straightening a pile of books until it is perfectly square? I don't care if the piles are different sizes. I don't care if they're different heights, just as long as they are square. I have worked in bookshops all my life. It's just that the shops didn't know it. All my work has been unsung, unheralded, unpaid, purely voluntary, with the extra frisson of knowing I'm doing it secretly, undercover, if you will, book tidying. I have no idea how many happy hours I have spent in Waterstones, or indeed other bookshops, furtively tidying books. Oh, forget your mindfulness techniques, forget your forest bathing, give me some books to tidy. I really should have been a librarian. One drunken night, I told my friend all about the book tidying. "You pervert," he spat. "People like you make me sick." And then he looked at me out the corner of his eye. "I go round Waterstones," he said, "messing the books up." We looked each other straight in the eye, and a flash of lightning exchanged between us. The next day was a cold, wet November in Sunday in November even. We met at Waterstones at high noon. I gave him a 2-minute head start. My friend went round messing the books up. I followed, tidying. And eventually we faced each other on opposite sides of the same table, one pile of books between us. Looking me straight in the eye, my friend deliberately skewed the books. Unflinchingly meeting his gaze, I tidied them. We stood there, the tension crackling between us, two gunfighters facing each other down. I could feel the tension build. I could feel the sweat running down my neck, leaking from my forehead and into my eyes. But I didn't move. I didn't blink. The first man to move was dead. And then security threw us out. I splurged all this out to the doctor. After 40 years, I sat there drained. The doctor looked at me over the top of his glasses. Well, Mr. Snowbarger, there are two possibilities. The first possibility. Now, stop me if I get too complex or technical here. You're a nutter! Or possibly you have Tourette's. Flip me, doctor. Flipping Tourette's? You flipping sure? I no flipping idea. Or words to that effect. The doctor raised his eyebrows. Oh, I'm sure. Along the way, people have made fun of me. Lots of people have, in fact. People have stared. Still do stare. But to a lot of people, it's made no difference. Mrs. Snowbarger doesn't love me in spite of, but because of who I am. And I've got a mate who's a roughy, tufty biker. And again, late one night, I kind of splurged stuff out to him about the ticking, the twitching, the talking. And he just looked at me puzzled. Well, that's just you, innit, Grift? I mean, that's what you do. That's your thing. I could have kissed him. And now, I feel sorry for those normal people who don't know what they've missed. All those lovely clicks and clunks of the light switches, all the inadvertent light shows that I've done, all the counting of paving slabs, the lovely buildings I've seen because I count windows, and all the lovely books. But the thing that really annoys me about finding out about Tourette's so late, all the opportunities I've missed of telling teachers, bosses and just about anybody else exactly what I think of them. I could have ranted and raved for a couple of minutes and then gone, sorry, it's my Tourette's, I just lost control for a minute. I know there's nothing they could do about it. Tell you what, the next time someone pisses you off, give it a go. Let me know how you get on. My apologies because this piece is rough and not quite ready, and this would change by September because there are some other areas that I'd like to look into. Things like why I had 12 jobs in 12 years and 2 years on the dole, and how things have gradually settled down, and how writing and performing I think has helped. But I hope you like this. I hope it's given you some idea of the possibilities. Thank you.